And we are live. Welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Sober Talk. And here in Sober Talk today, we're just going to try to do our best to remain positive, talk some positive vibes, and continue to remind us, those of us who struggle with drug and alcohol addiction, uh, continue to try to find ways to help us stay sober and stay strong. And for everybody else, hopefully along the way, yeah, that's kind of a funny story. How you doing, Sean? Um, I lied down for a minute because I was, just tired. I'd been at work. I started work today at 4:30, well, 4 o'clock this morning. I clock out at 1. Princess Faye is feeling under the weather, so yeah, kind of a funny day. Yesterday, I got gypped out of all my watch time hours because of how jacked up the stream was. I'm not going to go on to, I'm not going to, we know what happened yesterday. Um, it's one of those things. We all, those of us that were there, we seen what happened. You guys know what's up. So unfortunately, I got cut out of those hours because of that. How you doing? Novus P, welcome to the live stream. I don't believe I've seen you in here before. Um, Princess May made a few phone calls on that, so far as I know, we should be okay. We should be all right today. Um, but it's one of those things. We're all right today. So we'll stay with that. Um, Occasionally throughout this live stream, I will be dropping this particular link periodically throughout this. Feel free at your leisure to check this out. But you know, um, I believe that everybody could benefit from this particular knowledge. All right. And this will be throughout the live stream. So again, welcome everybody. I'm just kind of waiting for everyone to file in before we really crank this bad boy up. Um, there we go. How is everybody? Well, I'm Mr. Late today on getting this started, but it's good to see everyone. Harold, you're here. My goodness, everyone's jumping in and looks good. Looks good. Everybody, I'm glad that everyone is here today. Uh, as everybody usually loves to say to me, today is a good day to be sober. There we go. All righty. I missed your stream today. I'm so sorry. What is aircraft for 11? Um, I as soon as I do it, um, I've got to sit down. Basically, I have to edit out Aircraft Remover 11. Um, it's one of those things. I'm not sure how much longer the series is going to go, but I know at some point we're going to move on to other projects. But basically the first part, basically we're in the first series. There will be a second series, and then of course we got some goofy stuff to add in on that, and then that's pretty much it. Um, so, all righty. What's going on, Gamerin? Oh, you tired? We got all sorts of people in here today. My goodness. Well, I don't know about a lot of y'all, but I could use some positive vibes, some serious positive vibes. So that's what the big focus on this particular live stream is going to be about. Um, we're just looking. Yeah, poor Princess Faye. She was feeling pretty rough earlier. Was out and about, picking up those odds and ends to help her feel better. Um, I'm hoping she's feeling better. Um, Now it's my turn. I'm feeling a little on the belly, you know. Probably need to lay off the coffee myself, you know. So many, thank you so much, Queen. Yeah, yesterday was kind of a messed up deal, you know. But all that matters is we're here today, we're now, and my goodness, so many wonderful people in the live stream. Again, thank you all so much for being here with me. All the wonderful places we could all be. Y'all are here with me. Well, no, I guess there's not a whole lot we could do right now. All right, let's get this out of the way. What's it like where you guys are at? I know right here, they're getting ready to extend the stay-at-home, well, the state emergency. You know, the emergency state within my state. They're extending it uh, till June, something like June 4th. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, you're probably going to be, hey, honey. Oh, you see it? That's really sweet of everybody. Everyone's, um, let me say right now, that, uh, you know, that I love my wife very much. She's a good woman. She has to put up with me. That's how good she's got to be. Okay. So, I'm going to say it since this is sober talk and this is supposed to be about positive vibes. Let me say it right out of the gate. All right. Now that we're kind of getting in here and getting situated, I had a miracle happen to me today. I woke up this morning and I found it not necessary to take a drink. Any day that happens is still a miracle. Doesn't matter how long I've been doing this, it is still a miracle when I can wake up each day and find it not necessary to take a drink. All right. So that's, that's still important. It's still important. And let me tell you all, kind of a funny story today. I was frustrated about yesterday. Still a little frustrated about some things, but that's just, I'll get over it, okay? At some point, I will get the heck over it. Um, and I'm just gonna have to get over it. Now, that being said, I just have to get over it, sort of thing. Um, let me also say um, that while I was out and about today, I had some interesting stuff happen. Number one, um, you know, while I was at the local Walmart where I live, picking up those supplies, there was a lot of wonderful people that said positive things and kind of, did some really awesome stuff and just really just good people through and through today. And I was able to do something good. And normally when I do something like this, I don't like to tell everyone that I did something nice for somebody or spoke out good for somebody. It's one of those things I usually will only, the most I will tell is my beautiful wife, or, I might tell my sponsor, Sober Man, that sort of thing. And, you know, that's just one of those things that, you know, I usually keep that stuff to myself. But while I was at the local Walmart, those people were really nice. What did I do today? Soberman, yes, yes, my sponsor, Soberman. What's going on, filming? The ultimate grave digger. That's what's up, guys. It's good to see you all again. No Blood Dragoon popped in. And for the record, again, a lot of people get his name wrong. They get it wrong. It's two O's, not not dragon. That would be one O. But a lot of people get that confused, and I think I'm about the only one who spotted that. I think I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Um, and I've seen Harold in here. Harold's random videos. Another wonderful guy. The chairman is here. We got Sean. Think different. Filming the Ultimate Grave Taker. Queen Bee. Queen Bee's our refugee from over on Twitch. Again, being a positive vibe stream and trying to remind everyone to stay positive because a positive mind equals a healthy body. Um, you know, Let me say how important that is. Um, you know, um, Believe me when I say that it is sometimes difficult during times like this to remain positive. What are we doing to look around us to stay positive? That sort of thing. So what are we doing today? Again, I have to remind myself that any day I'm not drinking is still, a fantastic day. I have to remind myself that. That's sometimes one of those difficulties of staying sober. Along with that, you know, um, now that would be an interesting way of putting it there, Harold. Wake up and that's funny. That's an interesting. I've never really thought of doing that. That's a different way of doing things. Would there be anything wrong? No, not at all. Not at all. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually probably one of the coolest things I've heard. Wake up and say when you smell what the rock is cooking. That's funny. Uh, Actually, I've taken Dwayne Johnson's thing from wrestling. You smell what the rock is cooking, and I turn it into a dirty joke. Um, I know this is sober talk, and I won't go any further. But normally, I actually have taken his line and turned it into a dirty joke. Um, and it sounds a lot like it sounds similar, but it isn't the same. A little bit. I'll leave it at that. It's a dirty joke. Um, let's see. All right, I see a total of 8 people in the live with me now. A total of 7 likes. If you're lurking in the background or something like that, feel free to drop a like at any point in time and be greatly appreciated. Um, you know, Again, I thank every last one of you for being here with me. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Total of 9 likes. Thank you so very much. All righty. Um, the reason why for the longest time, I stopped saying, drop a like, because some of y'all would start doing it for me. But then I would get talking and sober talk like this, and someone would occasionally say, we might want to, do. And I was like, maybe, and they gave me a reason for it, and it's like that's really awfully nice of you all to say that. But anyhow, one of them things, one of them things. Kind of a heads up, I am occasionally dropping this particular link in chat that is to another video. Well, a live stream that we did here on the channel about a year ago. And feel free at any time to take a look during, to kind of get it in your history, to take a look at it during the live stream long enough to get it in your history. I definitely recommend it. It was an interview that I did, again, last year, interviewing my partner, Jammin' John. And I don't think I can handle it. Could I get a ginger ale, please? Thank you, dear. Feel free at any time to check that out, and at your own leisure. Maybe add it to your watch later. I definitely recommend it, and pass it around to all your friends, especially that video. I think it's one that needs to be passed around a little bit, even if you don't do nothing with it. You know, pass it around. You look beautiful, honey.
I'm not gonna say thank you on this one because are you even looking at me?
Yes, I am.
I was gonna say I have another solution for the whole internet problem between you and I. So when you're off the screen, hit
Okay.
It fixes all the problems.
Okay.
So that we don't have that argument ever again.
I don't feel.
Well, not argument. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get
debate.
Better. Disagreement.
Disagreement. That's fair. That's still fair. You know. What?
All I'm gonna say is you better look at that too.
What?
Your link. You better make sure you know what you're doing on that one. You're gonna rely on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I already double checked it.
No, I mean you're gonna need it.
Mm-hmm.
For yourself.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Where was I? All right. So, where was I?
This isn't for you, but this is for Queen.
No. I gotta set that in front of me. I can't even.
Queen's gonna eat it, not you.
Queen Bee, Princess Faye set this down for you. I don't know how you're supposed to enjoy this. Dark chocolate with peanut butter on top. That probably does sound pretty good.
Don't eat it.
Okay. All righty. Real quick. As a reminder that me and each other for gamer. Yeah, I like my chocolate too, but boy, right now my stomach has been just like in knots the last couple of days. I don't know why. I've been waking up just with like this horrible. Yeah, dark chocolate's amazing, isn't it? You know, what's going on, Daniel? You snuck in on me. I didn't see that pop up for a moment. It's good that you're all here. I haven't seen the one he's posted today. I'm gonna have to go over and see it because Gameron's a really awesome guy. Again, for those that do not know how I feel, if you got a blue wrench, drop the link to your channel if you have one in the chat. If you got Twitch, drop that one in there. Y'all know. And if you got someone close to you, drop that in there as well. Okay. That's that's just one of those things. Make sure that you again, network. Get to know one another. All right. Daniel and Chairman, I think everyone pretty well knows your channels by now who's in here right now, but that doesn't mean occasionally drop the link to your stuff in there. Okay. That's how we rock that. And Think Different, he's one of those guys, him and I just try to stay sober. Trying to remind ourselves that it's, that every day is still a successful day. Every day was still a successful day. When it comes to staying sober. There you go. Again, feel free to drop the link to you. I'm one of those ones that I don't get, upset about, when there's certain things I get upset about, and there's some things that, and there's, and y'all got to see me briefly, thank goodness, yesterday. I really was very angry, very upset. And that there's one of those things that I will say when it comes to being upset and being angry, it is perfectly okay for anyone to be upset, angry, upset. It's just not okay to stay there. Okay. Yeah. And a lot of it was, I've kind of found how I was going to deal with it. Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff that I was trying to. Thank you so much, Daniel. There was a lot of stuff that I was trying to show yesterday. It was just a nonstop nightmare. And today, it's like, okay, here's how I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to go live today, and I'm going to tell y'all. I even have my moments too. I found my way of dealing with it today. Um, it's one of those things that, you know, um, I even said yesterday, that I even said something that I hadn't said in years, that things haven't been the same since AT&T bought out Southwestern Bell, and I have not said that in years. And I caught myself. It's like, my goodness, yes, it was. It was very frustrating. There was a lot of stuff to actually show yesterday, but in the process of that, someone gave me an idea for a video. Um, right? Um, but on the up and up part, Project Spirit is running a lot better. So even despite all the frustrations, we were still able to deal with those problems yesterday. We got to run in top notch, and that's important. We got to run in solid as a rock, and I mean, there's still, we're still dealing with things that are, part of having an old car. That's part of the struggle. Um, even today, I meant to start this at 6:30. Yeah, I didn't get that far. They got me staying until 1 at work now instead of the usual 11 o'clock. I'm not 100% sure why. I mean, I have my theory. Um, but they have me stay until 1 today. So now I'm putting in like 9 hours at the job, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. So after going out and picking up the stuff for Princess Faye, hey, what's going on, Sad Cat? Welcome to the live stream. After doing all of that, I came home, I was exhausted. I even had to take care of kind of some office stuff, where I had to, you know, make a few phone calls and say some positive things. uh, right, right. We got some things that we're going to be dealing with. Here on the channel, we're going to be making some changes where we probably won't have as many of those problems as we did before. Just going to be some different changes. It's going to be awesome. All righty, man. So many wonderful. that's that's awesome, Daniel. I like the hashtag. Is that you? It's got to be you. That's cute. That's cute, man. I like that. You know. Again, occasionally throughout the stream, um, I'm going to be occasionally dropping. You know, right? Occasionally, I will be dropping this link to an older live stream that I did last year. Even if you don't do anything with it, at least, at some point, check it out and pass it around to everyone that you know. I believe that it's a game changer. I believe it's a game changer when it comes to stuff like we dealt with yesterday. Um, you know, so there we have that. Again, doing what we can to remind everyone to stay positive during these dark times. Um, you know, Project Spirit. We're looking at doing some things that I think y'all are going to get a big kick out of. For example, we're looking at talking about positive stuff that we can do during these dark times. Thankfully, I'm sober to do this. Y'all can tell whenever I'm not. When depression's getting to me. I hate that term. That's actually a diagnosis. People really throw that term around a lot. When they start talking about depression, they throw that term out a lot, and that's an actual diagnosis from a doctor. There you go. That's my wife getting ready to do some artwork stuff. Mm. Um, you know, Um, that's right. Moving forward. That's what the funny thing about us alcoholics, and most people don't realize this, we're either moving forward or moving back. Okay, that's just kind of how it is. We're either moving forward or we're moving backwards, and you know, so that's what we're doing. Okay, we're trying to move forward with what's going on. This pandemic, the whole thing has been extended. So now we're looking at probably the beginning of the summer. Many analysts are saying this is going to last a year. We've got a short wave of the pandemic where I live, and it's looked like we were going to be okay. But then Easter comes, and now it's starting in again, and it's not getting any better up in St. Louis, and everyone's, what can we do today? What can we do today? What can we do to deal with the problems of, what's going on in our life today? Right? What are we doing today? And positive. And that's just it. Okay? I know what you guys are wanting. You want another aircraft remover. After this stream, though, we're not going to stream as long as we normally do. I've been extending myself to the 2 hour marker, sometimes a little bit beyond that. However, right. What are we trying to look? Well, here's something that Sober Man would push on to me, okay? Um, in our old days, I'll just go to the spot and read step 3 for you guys, okay? All right. This is an important step for me. When I'm struggling with something in my sobriety, it's because I have a problem with this particular step. Okay. Now I am going to say something kind of after this, but if I'm struggling with oh, thank you. Yes, I'm actually a huge Kiss fan. I'm a big Kiss fan. As a matter of fact, it's when I'm doing karaoke, there are some songs by Kiss that I just love doing. As a matter of fact, my sponsor, Sober Man, is a huge Kiss fan. And there's a story. This is Sober Talk. I'm gonna have to tell the story. I'm gonna have to tell the story. But let me talk a little bit about step 3 real quick, okay? It's on page 60 to 63. And let's see if I can read this with the panache that my sponsor can, because I mean that guy can, the way he reads it, you're just sitting there entranced. It's like, oh, I was supposed to take this in. I'm sorry. All right. Being convinced that we're at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will on our life over to God as we understood Him. Just what do we mean by that? And just what do we do? The first requirement is that we be convinced that any life run on self will can hardly be a success. On that basis, we're almost always in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Most people try to live by self propulsion. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, is forever trying to arrange the lights, the ballet, and the scenery the scenery and the rest of the players in his own way. If his arrangements would only stay put. If only people would do as he wished, the show would be great. Everybody, including himself, would be pleased. Life would be wonderful. And trying to make these arrangements, our actor may sometimes be quite virtuous. He may be kind, considerate, patient, generous, even modest and self sacrificing. On the other hand, he may be mean, egotistical, selfish, and dishonest. But as with most humans, he is more likely to have varied traits. What usually happens, the show does not come off very well. He begins to think life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself more. He becomes, on the next occasion, still more demanding or gracious, as the case may be. Still, the play does not suit him. Admitting he may be somewhat at fault, he is sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, self pitying. What is his basic trouble? Is he not a self seeker, even when trying to be kind? Is he not the victim of the delusion that he can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world if he only manages well? Is it not evident to all the rest of the players that these are the things that he wants? Do not his actions make each of them wish to retaliate, snatching all they can get out of the show? Is he not, in his best moments, a producer of confusion rather than harmony? Our actor is self-centered, egocentric, as people like to call it nowadays. He is like the retired businessman who lolls in the Florida sunshine in the winter, complaining of the sad state of the nation. The minister who sighs over the sins of the 20th century. Politicians and reformers who are sure all would be utopia if the rest of the world would only behave. The outlaw safecracker who thinks society has wronged him, and the alcoholic who has lost all and is locked up. Whatever our protestations, are not most of us concerned with ourselves, our resentments, and our self-pity? Self-centeredness, selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. We step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us, seemingly without provocation, but invariably we find at some time in the past we have made decisions based on self, which later placed us in a position to be hurt. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, even though he doesn't think so. Above out everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. God makes that possible, and there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. Many of us had moral and philosophical convictions galore, but we could not live up to them even though we would have liked to. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own power. We had to have God's help. This is the how and the why of it. First of all, we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. Next, we had to decide that hereafter in this drama of life, God was going to be our director. He is the principal, we are his agents. He is the father, and we are his children. Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone to the new and triumphant arch which we passed to freedom. When we sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. We had a new employer, being all powerful. He provided what we needed if we kept close to him and performed his work well. Established on such footing, we became less and less interested in ourselves, our little plans and designs. We became more and more interested in seeing what we can contribute to life. As we felt new power flow in, as we enjoyed peace of mind, as we discovered we could face life successfully, as we became conscious of his presence, we began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, or the hereafter. We were reborn. We are now at step 3. Many of us said to our Maker as we understood him, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, thy way of life. May I do thy will always. We thought well before taking this step, making sure that we were ready, that we could at last abandon ourselves utterly to Him. We found it very desirable to take this spiritual step with an understanding person, such as our wife, best friend, or spiritual advisor. But it's better to meet with God alone than with someone who might misunderstand. The wording, of course, was quite optional, so long as we expressed the idea, voicing it without reservation. This was only a beginning, if honest, though if honestly and humbly made, an effect, sometimes a great one, was felt at once. That is the third step in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And when I first got sober, I had to read that once a day for 2 weeks straight. And at first, I was not happy about that, but I'm glad that I did because I learned an awful lot about myself. And when I and later on with Sober Man, I did it like I was 3 years sober, and we sat down and kind of did this again. I ended up learning even more. And the reason why I did it is I did it a second time, and it was really interesting how I did it that second time. I was chairing this particular meeting, my home group at that time. I was chairing it, and I told Sober Man, I said, I really want to talk about the third step. I said nobody really talks about the steps in a meeting. And I said I'm gonna basically kind of read over the third step and talk about what it was like, going through it, and then kind of sitting down and kind of doing it again for about a week and see what else I might learn. And he's like, Prince Magna, that's a wonderful idea. The sober man's like, man, that's fantastic. That's a great idea. He's like, let's do this. And we sat down, we did it, and I did it again. And when I went to that meeting and kind of talked about it and that sort of thing, a lot of people really walked away with something more than they had, and it was really interesting. So again, I'm going to say it like this. Yes, I get upset. Yes, I get angry. It's not okay for me to stay there. And I have to remind myself that I'm supposed to be today a producer of harmony rather than confusion. That whole line in there. Because at one time, in my best moments before I got sober, I was a producer of confusion rather than harmony. So Sober Man's is like, today I want you to flip flop that. I want you to flip flop that. That was something he actually said early on. He's like, I want you to flip flop that. I want you to, flop those two things around. You're supposed to be today a producer of harmony rather than confusion. He's like, that is what it's all about. That's what you're supposed to do today. And that's what I want you to focus on. He said, remember, it's super important that you remember that today. And he said, it doesn't mean you're going to do it perfect every time, but do your best. He said, it's part of being human. He said, you're going to be human. You're going to fall down. You're going to make mistakes. It's part of it. You know, I once heard this one old timer, sweet, wonderful lady, probably one of the sweetest gals I have met in my sobriety, one of them. And she said in a meeting, I am a human being first and a sober alcoholic second. As a human being, I'm going to make mistakes, but as a sober alcoholic, I'm going to have to try to learn from those mistakes and do my very best to do better the next time. And that's just part of it. I was watching a video, I think it was yesterday, on Bruce Lee, how he talked about that whole, self-improvement thing. And I'm like, well, AA kind of does something similar, but maybe not along the same lines as you, but, there's just something, something that I have to continue to work on. That, I struggle with, sometimes I struggle with patience. Sometimes I struggle with being tolerant. You all got to see that briefly yesterday. That's part of me being human. And I'm sorry you all seen that today. I wish a lot of you had not seen that yesterday. It is a part of me that I do struggle with from time to time. You know, it's just one of those things. It's part of me continuing to try to grow in the right direction. So, so I say to all of you, you occasionally you will see me fall down, but that's part of me having to that I've been given tools by a spiritual program that have been given to that program by a God of my understanding that I don't understand, a higher power of my understanding, if you will. You know, those tools were given to that program to give to me to, that when I make a mistake like that, part of that, when I make a mistake, I can pull myself back up, dust myself off, and say, let's move in the right direction. I don't have to fall back and go, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person. I'm going to say it like this. If anybody out there beat me up as bad as I beat myself up sometimes, I would do them serious harm. Okay? Because I beat myself up pretty hardcore. I'm oftentimes my biggest critic. That's part of me trying to continue to learn to stay sober. It's part of me trying to live sober is to, okay, I made a mistake and try to learn from that mistake. Sometimes I beat myself up pretty hardcore, okay? Um, you know, um, you just sometimes have to, you got to work through it, got to work through it. And, for those of us in Alcoholics Anonymous, or trying to live sober or live that clean life, for those of you who might be in the Narcotics Anonymous area, don't think I haven't forgot about you all, okay? Let me say right now, for those of you who have your struggles too, you know, let me say that that sometimes we are very hard on ourselves. Um, I once heard an old timer in AA actually say, "Stop beating yourself up. The world needs the lumber for homes." Okay. Well said, Sad Cat. Well said. Well said. Thank you so much for putting that in there. You know, I'm just like everybody else. I will fall down. I will make mistakes. That's part of the growing process. Um, you know, and I never hope that I get so spiritual I'm of no earthly help to no one. Okay? I hope that I never get so lofty. There you go, Sad Cat. Okay. There you go, Daniel. Thank you again for those of you who've got YouTube channels, Twitch channels, Mixer, whatever. If you've got a channel, and you don't forget to drop that link in the chat, okay? So we can all find you. YouTube's made it really difficult for us to find each other and to network, but do not worry. I found my solution, okay? Handed out a bunch of wrenches, and on the occasion, my channel moderators, I'm going to start calling them my channel mechanics. My channel mechanics. They can, you know, they've been known to occasionally go over to some of the people don't have wrenches, grab the link to their channel, and then come back over and then drop it in the chat for us. So, we look out for each other, continuing to try to help, trying to help the community grow. We all, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Actually, I like to refer to us as the Maverick Nation, but that is cute. In the channel, my moderators are the Maverick Mechanics. That's a great. I love that. I love. You guys like that? The moderators. You guys like that being called the Maverick Mechanics because you got the wrench. That is so cute. I will not take credit for that. That is too cute. You guys, I love that. There you go. I love that. That is awesome. Yeah. So from here on out, when you get a wrench, you're a Maverick. You're a Maverick mechanic. I love that. Did you think that up off the top of your head? Because I mean, I know that would be something if I would have thought of it. it'd have been something that just kind of pow right in the back of my head, just right off the top of my head, and would have landed like right there. Uh-huh, I thought so. I thought so. That is awesome. Now, within the Maverick Nation, most people don't realize this. Our ladies, I like it. I like it. Most of our ladies don't know that they have a special name. The ladies within the Maverick Nation, they have a special name. They are Lady Mavericks. So our ladies get their own special title. They're Lady Mavericks within the Maverick Nation. I don't know. That was something that just kind of came to me one day in the midst of my insanity. I was sitting there just kind of, brainstorming while working on a video. Actually, I think I was brainstorming while editing a video, and then I was watching a movie. And at the same time, I think I might have been working on some. I mean, I was all over the place. I looked like a Chinese fighter pilot or something. It was insane. Uh, I'm glad Princess Faye gave me the ginger ale. That is some good stuff. Any of our ladies out there, if you're ever dealing, with morning sickness or anything like that, ginger ale. I highly recommend it. It's an old remedy. It's been around for years. Or ginger snaps. That's another old one that's been around for years. So any ladies ever, it'd be in the category of expecting mother. Chocolate, yes, chocolate is always a nice one. Yeah, your queen, your chocolate's still right here, not a joke. Princess Faye's like, you better not be trying to eat. She's like, you can't eat that. That's for Queen. Okay, right there. It's right there. It's how we do things around here. You'll be right over. That would be awesome. A lot of you out there, I know Sad Cat, until she kind of told me who, because her name had changed. Um, Most people don't know I've had the opportunity to meet Sad Cat. And let me say right now, meeting her and some of her friends. Oh, Nita, oh no. Well, jumping Project Spirit and come get you. I don't know how. I don't know if they. I don't know. I'll tell you what. But meeting Sad Cat, she's a real sweet gal, real sweet gal. Um, and you know, when I say a sweet gal, I mean she actually. I think it was a friend of hers. She's actually part of the very first rescued cat from the Prince Magnum channel. She's actually a part of that story. And, you know, I know he's doing good. I know he's probably grown like a weed. He's probably a fat cat by now. Oh, thank you so much. Well, that was the day that Project Spirit's flywheel busted. Yep, adopted Spike, which the Prince Magnum channel is now credited with 2 rescues, and we're getting ready to add a 3rd rescue soon. Yep, that was the day. Yeah, what happened was the flywheel just like, well, we're talking a flywheel in a car that's now coming up on 46 years old. My car's almost 46 years old. It's like, my God. But again, for those that do not know, Project Spirit is the Prince Magnum channel is the house that Project Spirit built. When I started kind of getting to know a lot of you in the gaming community, for those of you who are gamers, and then you started finding out that I was more DIY than video game, and then started seeing the cars. There's some of you out there like, I want to see this car. And then, the buzz was on. Well, this particular one that we are, um, I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. The particular person who actually has this cat, currently feeding two strays. Oh no, yeah. Once you save one, you're gonna just keep doing it. You might as well hang that up. And Spike, um, you guys don't didn't know this, but after we left, I had to drive because Princess Faye started crying because she was already missing Spike. We weren't even a couple miles down the road, and she was missing Spike big time. Um, it was kind of a different place, but you know what? We were really glad that he found his forever home. And then we added earlier this year we added Sebastian, and now we're getting ready to add another cat. Matter of fact, we're actually going to be basically taking one of the cats for part of the rescue, but it's going to be an entire litter, about 10 kittens in all. Kittens. Um, Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he's an amazing guy. When you all sent me some pictures of him, I was like, my God, he's already getting that big. And it wasn't even what a month, and he was just getting so big. And I'm like, he looks like he's just so happy, and just he was a very confident, strong cat. Just an amazing guy, amazing guy. And let me tell you that the current one that we're working on is an entire litter of kittens. Um, the particular gentleman, um, you know, you'll have to excuse me because I love cats so much myself. He was, I would hope he was joking, but he was making jokes that, if nobody took the kittens, he was going to drown them. My someone has said, that Prince Magnum has rescued a couple cats. She said something to me, and I looked at her, kind of crossed my arms like this. I said, young man, I don't care if you're joking or not. You do that again, and you and I are going to have words. And I said, and I'm going to give you 5 good reasons. I said, and those words are not going to be kind. I said, I'll speak only 5 words to you. 5 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in other words, I threatened to beat the brakes off of them. And the sad part was I was at work. So I could have gotten a lot into trouble, but they understood my emotion when it comes to especially kittens. I love kittens. Kittens are great. They're cute and fluffy, and they even got little daggers on their paws. So I was ready to beat the brakes off this dude. And when the kittens, so at that time, Mama Cat was still pregnant, and that sort of thing. And now the kittens are here, and he showed me video, and I said, they look great. I want the black one. I want the black kitten. And they do. They make life wonderful. So when I said that, and I said they look good, he said, "Do they look good?" I said they look great. I said Mama Cat's doing their part, and I said take good care of them. We're going to find homes for all of them. I said, but we're going to take. I said I want one of the black kittens because where I live, black cats, black cats are always in danger. We have a lot of superstitious types around here. I got nothing against the church. It's just, the churches in the area. The churches in the area are usually pretty decent. A lot of times, I know, a lot of times the churches in the area, the churches themselves are really, I know it's horrible. The churches in our area, a lot of times, they're not bad. It's just some of their followers. And you know what they say about apples? That one bad apple? Well, that kind of is a lot of the case with the churches around here. Now, there is one church that is over in Farmington that likes to hold these protests, protesting, things that they really don't have business to be protesting. And we'll talk about that some other time. That's getting into politics, and I want to avoid that, here on Sober Talk. But we'll have to do an in your face on that one sometime. And I know Think Different is somewhere in the background. He knows exactly what I'm talking about over there in Farmington. He's very familiar, and I've actually done a video on that explaining that one. It ain't good. And I know the church that does that. I don't recommend anyone. They're horrible, horrible people. Well, let me put it like this. When it comes to, how, to me, I've kind of taken that attitude that all life is worth preserving as best as we can. I mean, uh, the general rule of thumb, even when it comes, a lot, yeah. I often, I love animals. I love them. I love animals. They deserve it. And to me, a lot of people, man's best friend. I have a cat that takes care of me um, when I have PTSD flashbacks. Um, I have them. I've had them since I was 16, and that's part of me having to live life. Most people don't know what I believe that I was born alcoholic, but my PTSD um, helped speed up the process. The things that it took for me to get the PTSD. I was diagnosed at 16 years old, um, and I remember that counselor basically explaining to my dad, said, exactly, exactly. Um, I actually have a cat, Taver. Sad cat actually remembers. I know she remembers my big, multicolored, white and gray cat. Oh no, you're fine. I appreciate the interaction. But I know, Sad Cat, you actually remember my big cat Taver? He's around here someplace. Great. He's big and fat. He's a fat cat. You're Sad Cat. He's Fat Cat. I'm not kidding you. He is big. I mean, he's ginormous. And there'll be nights that he'll lay over one of my legs. You love you a fat cat, huh? Oh yeah, he's big. He is big. He's big, and oh, aren't they? Aren't they? So basically, if you remember that heart that is actually on his side, oh, I will definitely be glad to send you some pictures of. He's a big old cat. I'm hoping Princess Faye might be nearby and maybe be able to grab him and bring. You guys wouldn't believe how big this guy is still. He's actually gotten chunkier since the last, since the last time he's been on camera. He doesn't like to get on camera. I guess he realizes that he's getting, I think he's getting self-conscious about his weight. Taver, you're a cat. You're not supposed to worry about those things. You're just supposed to eat and look cute. Yeah, the heart on his side, it's just gotten bigger. It's just gotten bigger, just because of how big he has gotten. But yeah, real quick for those that don't know, as we're talking about this, talk about again because I suffer from PTSD, and the cat that takes care of me when I have flashbacks. Some people have to Photoshop this. Mine came with his own. Actually has a heart on his side, just and he's a white cat, but he's got splotches of gray and kind of these weird, almost like tortoiseshell colors, and just real pretty cat. And his multicolor gray on one of his sides is in the shape of a heart. The cat that takes care of me when I have PTSD flashback actually has his own heart on the side, and it's so cute. Um, he's such an amazing guy. I love him to pieces. And I, when here I am, trying to stay sober and everything, and then when you're dealing with PTSD, it is really hard. It was actually members of AA that taught me how to deal with PTSD in sobriety. I did not know how to live with trying to be sober and still having, I didn't know how to live that way. It was actual members of Alcoholics Anonymous that had been in Vietnam that taught me how to live that life. And I know sometimes here on the internet, some people will beat up, kind of beat on the, verbally beat on the baby boomers, but Vietnam veterans are our baby boomers in a lot of ways. That war was kind of targeted towards them, and it was Vietnam veterans that have been teaching me how to live life sober and still dealing with PTSD. Those guys are awesome. Our Vietnam veterans are awesome. I can't thank them enough for everything that they've taught me how to do. When dealing with life, those guys are amazing. And we're slowly losing them all, and it sucks because those guys really are. I mean, those are a true national treasure right there. Um, those are a true national treasure, our Vietnam veterans, because they really have went on to teach a lot. They've taught me how to live with PTSD. And I mean, I have horrible flashbacks. 16 years old, again, when I was diagnosed, I'll wake up in the middle of the night, won't even know where I'm at. I won't even remember anything, won't even remember my name. All I know is I'm scared. Princess Face had to wake me up in the middle of the night a few times, had to wake me up carefully, because I've been known to come flying, flying up when trying to wake me, flailing and swinging. Not, and I don't mean to. I feel horrible whenever I accidentally hit someone and I'm in that front. I feel horrible, and it's kind of embarrassing talking about it. To be honest with y'all, because in my head, in my alcoholic mind, I'm supposed to be smarter than this, supposed to be bigger than this. I'm larger than this. No, I'm not. I'm a human being. I forgot where I was going with that, but I think I ended up saying exactly what needed to be said on that. But anyhow, talking about big old Taver, he'll lay across. Really? Yeah. I kind of get that too, but a lot of times it's where I'm having these horrible flashbacks. Princess Faye, I don't know if it's been a good while. There was one night I was screaming in my sleep, screaming, and she had to wake me up. And when she did, she kind of, Princess Faye, and then kind of jumped back because I'm coming out the hard way. Not meaning to, and I feel so horrible when she has to deal with that. Um, Again, things that uh, it is what it is. But think about it, okay? Talk about. I've said this a million times. It is, and for those that do not know, for those that do not know, Princess Faye suffers these severe bouts of you know she gets these depressing bouts every now and again, and I mean she really gets down in the dumps. And when it happens, I do what I can to try to bring her out. Medication costs money and doctors cost money. So for those who do not know, part of the inspiration for surviving romance, everyone knows it's a dedication to Princess Faye. Along with that, um, for those who do not know, that is also her reminder that her husband loves her. It's the best medicine that I can offer is that reminder that she is loved. Got to get through that dark spot in your life, but it is a reminder that something to help kind of hopefully ease those dark spots. That most people would don't. That was the real inspiration behind that series. That and we were going through some crazy stuff, and it's like I need content. I need content, and so that was part of it. And but and it's like, but I do love my wife, so why not give something to her? She's been supporting me and that sort of thing. So um, because she's been supporting me and everything, why not give her a series to her? She deserves it. She puts up with me. You know, for those being in recovery, again, just because you're in recovery does not mean you're perfect. I've not been bleached white as snow, but I will say that I even struggle You know, I have my struggles just like everybody out there. You know, I have my faults. I have those blind spots that I have to continue to work on today. The biggest one that I have, and I'm going to surprise you with this, I struggle with my ego. I struggle with my ego. I can get pretty grandiose. I could get pretty over the top. Serious big shotism. So now that I have said that, I'm going to surprise you all. Usually, those of us in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous who come into the programs with that kind of, that whole ego, bigger than life, and that sort of thing. The bigger the ego, the more that person usually hates themselves, and they're just trying to hide it. So the bigger the ego, the more they usually hate themselves. And I actually was telling my own boss at work about that. I was explaining to her how she's like, that is so odd. I said, we alcoholics, especially without a program behind us, have this nasty tendency to try that we're big contradictions. I wanted everyone to pay attention to me, but I didn't want anyone to bother me. So I acted a certain way. I want, where I was larger than life, and but yet at the same time, when I was scary and this scary kind of guy, grr, grr, and because of that, people had this one whole idea about me that wasn't even true because I wanted them to have that idea. And then when they realized I'm just like everybody else, I have things that make me afraid, things that I have things that I'm afraid of. That's part of life, learning how to live with the fears of life. And you know, there we are, dealing with those fears. Um, Kind of funny, what drives an alcoholic to drink? Resentment and fear, the biggest one. Now, for those that do not know what resentment is, in AA we have our own term. We call it frozen anger. Frozen anger. That's actually the easiest way to put it. Frozen anger. Something that you're still angry about and you've not dealt with it. And that's just part of resentment. That's just what resentment is. You bring up a particular resentment, and believe it or not, you're struggling with that resentment. So that's where you're at. You're struggling with it. And resentment has been known to drive people to drink in AA. Or I'm sure it's and on the other side of the fence for our NA brethren, I'm sure that it's driven some of them to use. But it's kind of part of it. Um, mm. So there you have it. There you have it. Golly, I was feeling kind of aggravated and frustrated earlier in the stream, because of yesterday not getting my hours in and that sort of thing. We got them in anyways. At any rate, we still got them in, which is fantastic. We got them in. I'm still going to load a video. Basically, I took what happened today, turned it into something positive today, how I'm going to deal with it and that sort of thing. And still going to upload content, going to get through the mess. That's just part of it, and, that's where we are again. Now, for those of you who do not know, okay, in the description box, there is a link to the Discord. If you have not joined the Discord, you are welcome to. Everybody that's usually in the chat, a lot of I need to be. I wish I should. I really should get in there more, but I don't. To me, the Discord is more for you guys, anyways. A way for you to promote your channels, the way for you to show off your artwork, other projects, show off being part of being a couple. And it's a great way for us to hang out when I'm not streaming and that sort of thing. And believe me when I say that you utilize it. Again, this is for you guys, okay? And it's a way for me, even if I'm not saying nothing, I'm still looking at it and I see you guys. And there are days that, I go in and I look at it, and believe me when I say, you guys are still cheering me up when I'm dealing with tough stuff, even if you don't know you're doing it. Need you guys. Need you guys. Need every last one of you guys. Along with that, I have put my email address in the chat. I need to get in there and check my email after the stream. But that being said, my email is in the chat. Well, in the description box, and it's there for a reason. Some of you have been saying you want to be able to donate to the Prince Magnum channel. Well, if you got PayPal, I'll tell you how this works. You can actually take my email, put it in, and actually then send donations directly to the PayPal account. We do not have to wait on YouTube. You don't have to wait, okay, because I have a PayPal account and everything. So we do not have to wait on YouTube to turn on the money-making stuff and the super chat and everything like that. We do not have to wait on them. So if you feel like you need to, by all means, you're welcome to, but you are not obligated. I won't ask that of you guys. So it's one of those things. If you feel like you got to, that's the way. That's an easy way you can do it. For now, just use the PayPal accounts. But if you don't feel like it, don't feel that you can, whatever, no one, I won't ask that of you. You take care of you first, okay? We don't get sober to go broke, okay? We don't get sober to be taken advantage of. There's one thing that I'm going to tell you all. When I say it's okay to get upset, it's just not okay to stay there. That does not mean, though, and this is where it kind of ties into yesterday. It's not okay to stay angry, find a solution, that sort of thing. But it is perfectly okay to stand up for yourself. It is okay to, we didn't get sober to become anyone's doormat. We didn't get sober to let people push us around. We didn't get sober to go broke. We didn't get sober to, for any, to wreck our families. Take care of you. Take care of you first. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, yesterday I lost my stuff. I could have handled that a lot better. But on the other hand, that was actually emotions tied into. So bear that in mind as we continue to go forward in dealing with this whole thing. It is okay to get upset. It's not okay to stay there, but you don't get sober to become someone's doormat, to be ripped off, to be mistreated in any way, shape, or form. And you did not get sober to wreck your family. You didn't get sober to any of those things. You got sober because it was killing you and you're trying to save your life. Part of saving your life does not mean throwing away the good that's still there. Bam! That's the best way I could put that. So that's where it stands. It doesn't mean bad things aren't going to happen to you either. All righty. Talk about positive there. Boom. Turned that back around, didn't I? All righty. So we're now at that point. I actually streamed a little bit longer than I anticipated, but there was a lot of positive vibes that we needed to get out. Some things that will help us as we continue forward dealing with this pandemic. Again, I want to reiterate, every last one of you who've been in here with me today and who might be even watching the playback, you all are very important, because it takes a lot of people to help me stay sober, not just the members of Alcoholics Anonymous. What's going on, Red Skull 561? Good to see you, buddy. We're actually slowly getting ready to wind it down. Just reminding everyone, as part of my sobriety, that I am still a selfish alcoholic. I am still a selfish alcoholic. How selfish am I? Well, it takes every last member of Alcoholics Anonymous to help me stay sober today. But it also takes over 1,000 of you in the Maverick Nation to help me stay sober too. Every last one of you. Gavin John, welcome to the live stream. You guys are awesome. That's what's up. You know, again, it takes every last one of you guys to help me stay sober. You know, not just the members of Alcoholics Anonymous. Well, thank you so much for saying that. Thank you. It means the world that all of you continue to, continue to help build me up so I can hopefully reach that next alcoholic who's still suffering. And believe me, there's a lot of alcoholics and a lot of drug addicts who are out there suffering right now. They don't even know how bad they're suffering in some cases, but I can see it. You know, I love me some ginger ale. I love me some ginger ale. One of the oldest sodas in the world. And I'll tell y'all, I got an upset stomach. That's one of the best sodas for it. All righty. Yes, again, if you have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, Mixer, Periscope, whatever, feel free to drop the link to your channel or maybe your favorite video in the chat before we shut her down. I understand, Queen. I understand, Queen Bee. I love me some ginger ale, though. And root beer. Really? I've never had the Sprite ginger. I'm going to have to try that out now. Yeah. Oh, and real quick, Queen Bee, your chocolate with peanut butter on it is still right here whenever you're ready for it, okay? Told you. I'm definitely gonna have to try that out. I like me some ginger ale, and I do like Sprite. I do. McDonald's got the tropical Sprite that I love so much. They got rid of the Minute Maid lemonade, and then they bring in that tropical Sprite, and I love that stuff. You know, you like that, Queen? For those that do not know, Miss Queen Bee is one of our refugees from Twitch. She probably likes that. I know she's like, oh my gosh, the refugee joke again. Red Skull, if you've not had a chance to check out, you're gonna have to get a chance. Open up my channel after the stream and check out Aircraft Remover. Aircraft Remover, not a joke. On my channel. Each video is at the most, I think the longest one is like 17 seconds. You got to check them out. There's an entire playlist, about 11 videos in all of them just short clips. It literally only take you about 3 minutes to get through all 11 videos. I promise you, you will laugh yourself to death. A lot of people love these videos. The last one was, you're hosting Resident Evil tomorrow? Resident Evil 2? Awesome. Yeah, you've watched all of them. Queen, I think you've probably watched them all about 2, 3, maybe 4, 2, 3 times a day. I've seen those numbers keep jumping. I think it's safe to say that those numbers are jumping pretty doggone good. I've got a funny feeling that when my I know the first one. Okay, yeah. Few times my big toe. Thought I was gonna say something else then. Prince Magnum, you behave yourself. This isn't Pornhub. You guys are awesome. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for being here with me. I'm a selfish alcoholic. Even though I'm in recovery, I'm a very selfish alcoholic. Sean, we know that Sean Sean watches Aircraft Remover. That's his favorite series. We know that Sean watches Sean and Gamerin and LSB. Let's see, LSB and who's the other? We know Mike. Um, where is LSB? I don't know where he's at. He comes in when he can, you know. And I know Think Different probably watches Aircraft. Them guys really watch it pretty religiously. Um, and I've been finding out that other people in our neck of the woods have been slowly going through Aircraft Remover, looking at it like this is absolutely hilarious. Um, one of the people that now I know sometime tomorrow I don't know where my sister is. She's been playing a lot of Minecraft lately and neglecting her older brother. That, and I think she's trying to think up of the next. She's been wanting to do these meme videos on YouTube. They're cute. They're cute. She's got a couple of them up there, and I tell you, I said that's a heck of a thing, stealing my gag, sis. So I turned around and took the gag that she stole from me, stole it back, and I haven't. Yeah, and now I'll be re-releasing it, done a little bit better than she did. But I've got the editing equipment. She hasn't learned what I learned yet. Maybe I ought to teach her. Channel gets big enough, I've got my new editor. Sis, you're in charge. Oh my goodness. All right, so I do need to go and jump off here. I've streamed a little longer than I wanted. I got to go in and aggravate Princess Faye, give her some grief, which I do that very well. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Again, I'm going to say it. I'm a selfish alcoholic. I need all of you at Days End to help me stay sober too. And that brings me to the spot where I get to say the following. At Days End, I hope all of you need me as much as I need you, because I need every last one of you out there. My alcoholism is still alive and well. I'm sure she did. My alcoholism is still alive and well, right in here. So I need all of you at Days End to help me stay sober. Some of you have been calling me a hero in this crisis. You guys are the heroes because you're helping me stay sober. Even after 14 years, this is still a life and death situation. I'm always going to be one arm bend away from the man I used to be. And that brings me to the spot as I begin to shut this down for the night. As a reminder to all of you, if no one out there has told you that they love you, even in these dark times, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.